Now we would like to move on to the next presentation. And from this presentation and onward, since time is limited, we don't take any questions from the floor. If you have any questions, please exchange business cards and ask questions individually. So the next speaker is Mr. Chiba, who was from Denso, and he has been developing the software development, and then he started joining the connected car department. A remote monitoring system of the car air conditioning is the task he is engaged. So today he would make a presentation on the development of air conditioning monitoring system in connected cars. I am Yusuke Chiba of Denso, and this time I would like to talk about the development of air conditioning monitoring system in connected cars using the web service. So first of all, I would like to introduce Denso. Do you know Denso? Denso was established in 1949, and last year the revenue is 5.1 trillion yen. There are 170,000 employees in the world. It is a global automotive parts company. Automotive parts are diverse. There are more than 30,000 parts used in a car. We are developing and manufacturing the sensors, actuators, and computers controlling actuators and sensors. Another example of the parts we make is the air conditioning, and we have the air conditioners and the computers controlling air conditioning systems of the automobiles, and we are supplying your parts to global automotive companies. I'm from Iwate Prefecture. I joined Denso after graduating from university, and I moved to Aichi Prefecture. At first, I developed the software to be embedded into the engine control devices. Waterfall development and C language was used. And last year, I moved to the Web Service Development Department, which is located in Shin Yokohama, not in Aichi, where the headquarters of Denso is located. And here in that department, I'm developing connected services like an air conditioning monitoring system of the vehicles. I became 30 and I wanted to start something new, so I started learning to play the piano. And in March, I had some festival for jazz, and I want to play the piano there. I have to practice more. So I want to talk about the web service. The air conditioning of the cars are diverse. What you know is the passenger cars you're driving, but what we are doing is the bus air conditioner as well as the refrigeration trucks, and there is a fridge to cool the cargo cars, and we attach the communication system so that we may be able to detect abnormality of air conditioning earlier to support operations. If there is abnormality in the bus air conditioners, the satisfaction of the passenger would be deteriorated. If the fridge cargo cars have problems, then there might be a thawing of the cargoes, resulting in a big damage. So we have to detect those abnormalities as early as possible, and the monitoring screen is presented here on the right. This vehicle, or this is fridge cars, and we can trace the temperature of the fridge and the condition of the equipment. Denso is developing the air conditioning systems for the automotives. So we may be able to utilize our expertise in developing this monitoring web service. In order to develop it, we need 3 important components. And the background is that we have to listen to the managers of the operation and maintenance of buses and fridge trucks. And we have to develop valuable functions for their operations. So Ruby on Rails, AWS, and the Scrum are used. Ruby on Rails allows us to implement and modify functions for a shorter period of time. AWS has no lead time for procurement, and it is extensible, and Scrum will allow us to develop and release the system at a shorter cycle. So with these 3 components, we may be able to develop quickly a small system, and our development can be very flexible. And this is the web service outline. The users are the operators and the maintenance managers of the buses and trucks. They are running on the roads, and there are some additional devices attached to the buses and fridge trucks, and we would collect data, and these data are sent to AWS. Then there is a review on Rails in the AWS, and we would like to see the applications for operation management, maintenance management, and we can send a daily report as a regular processing, and if there are any abnormalities detected, it should be communicated. It would be communicated to the users. So these are the web services we are developing. In order to develop the web service, the scrums are described here. Of course, the scrums are different depending upon the users. What we are doing is described here. We develop in a week and release it and ask the user to use, and we collect comments from the users so that we can further refine the system. So this is a more detailed look at the 1-week activities. For example, the Wednesday is an event day for us, and in the afternoon we make a plan what we are going to do in the week and what is the task. We will make a task analysis, and we would estimate what time is required. And in accordance to the plan, on Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, we develop the system. And we try to trace the progress every day as a Scrum checkups. And then we have a sprint review, and we would consider whether we have made the appropriate progresses, and we would check what we have done and what we haven't done, and we would make another plan for the next week. We are located in Shin Yokohama, and each team has a room. And we have Scrum board in the room. This is a whiteboard on the wall, and we use a lot of Post-it to show the priority of the tasks we have to do. And when completed, we would take the Post-it out. So we know who is working on what and what are the hurdles and challenges. Why do we use this system? Users want to have a system, but without trying it, they don't know whether what we make fits the needs of the users or not. Matsumoto-san talked about the McDonald's hamburgers, and the users, the McDonald's thought that the consumers or visitors, their clients want to have a healthy hamburgers, but it's not. So we have to make it, and we have to let them try to see whether this satisfies their needs. So we have to have a week of development, and on the second week, we ask the users to try using it and try to get the comments from them, and we would refine it. And as a framework, we used Ruby on Rails. And I would like to show you some of the successful examples of using Ruby on Rails. The first week, this is a launch time. In order to get a feedback from the users, we have to try develop the system. As a Scrum, we would make a very careful planning, and we discussed it in the team, and we shared the planning with other team members. For Ruby on Rails, we have Rails application template available to us, and it is available on the internet of the company, and this would help us make an architecture of the shared parts. We would use that template. Then we deploy it, and we ask the user to use it, and we collect their comments. We have the know-how we have accumulated for the prior products, and we deploy it to AWS. Then we also have to add the simplified functions for air conditioner, temperature monitoring, and the vehicle position display functions. And we can make a system for the users to try on the second week. Then we have to make a very quick improvement cycle. Ruby on Rails can be implemented at a limited code volume, and it is easy to use because of the abundant libraries. And with this, we may be able to get the feedback from the users, and their feedback is used to the refined model and release it. And we repeat that cycle of improvement. Another example, the process is limited in number, and that process is of high reliability. And if there are too many development processes, it may result in the problems or deficits in terms of the securities. And since GEM is used by us and other people, we decided to use GEM. We don't make our own. And this is used by many companies because they are reliable, and we may be able to alleviate some of the fragility test by the third party because this is already used for the prior products. And we have to have a very quick cycle of development of a week, and we have to make a correction and modification at a shorter span. So we have a risk of accumulating technical burdens. In order to maintain the quality of the code, we use code climate. This is a test coverage. We try to maintain as high test coverage as possible. And therefore, we have a total test coverage, which is very high. And we increase the function every year. So the code volume increases in proportion to the function added, but by refactoring, we can suppress the increase in the volume of code. Maintainability should be kept high, and we start refactoring for the parts which is low in maintainability, so that we can maintain the high level of maintenance, and this would help us reduce technical burdens. Furthermore, this is the C language used at the beginnings. And in the Lubunese world, it is nice. Ruby on Rails is better because we can use the technologies which is very active in the communities. And this is the Akira's subscription rankings, and the Rails on Ruby is high. And we use other technologies where the community is very active, like JavaScript, AWS, Docker, and Python. Python is good in driving the events on AWS. So we try to utilize the technology where the community is very active, and it would help us very quick development. And also, this is compatible to agile development. And I think that there are peripheral tools available for agile development. So there are three important tools we have to use, and by using it, we can develop quickly and flexibly small systems. And in the future, the cars will be connected to the internet. Then the data can be collected on the internet or on the server, and then we have to consider how to use those collected data to improve the service. We would like to utilize those three tools so that we may be able to create a consistent service from vehicle to web as Densou. Lastly but not least, this is our voices. We have started the new department, and this is a growing field. So we are trying to hire more people who have an experience in the field. And if you want to read the QRS code, you would see how we are recruiting the human resources. And this is an example of Quita. And we sometimes are interviewed by Quita. And if you Google Quita, you can find an article featuring us. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much.